Thank you. The sun's come out. You've managed to get here. It could be a good day. I want to see a show of hands to get an idea of how many of you have used Contactless. Pay for something contactless. That's pretty much. Has anybody not used it? Anybody brave enough to put their hand? One person. Two people. Look at that. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, didn't really exist. Do you like contactless? Do you find yourself getting a little bit frustrated when they're not offering contactless? Okay. So think about it. It's not that painful to stick a card in the machine and hit 4 digits. I mean, it really isn't that hard. That's what, 5 seconds of your life? But compared to the ease of just going beep, what's happening is there's a fundamental change that's going on. And this applies exactly the same way as the way that people who are buying online and trends and innovations in retail happen. All of a sudden, what used to be the norm is not, and innovation has driven something that people prefer. And that means that when it's not offered, just like you experience that bit of frustration when you're having to go through the pain of putting in 4 digits, you feel a bit of pain, and you'll associate that to that brand. In the same way, if it's easy and you just go bip, you're getting pleasure. So something fundamentally and physically has changed in your brain chemistry. Some new wiring has happened that is making you like that experience compared to not. And that's why in the digital world, it's so important to stay current, but also to stay agile to what is going to happen, what might happen. We don't know all these things, but to have that framework of flexibility of people, process, technology, to be able to adapt to these kind of things. This, who could have predicted contactless 5 years ago? And so the game's moved on in retail online. It's not enough just to have a website that offers multi-currency, multi-languages, shipping. It's now shipping next day. It's now shipping, micro-shipping, where you've got to do it in 2 hours. People like Amazon are driving this desire of customers and this expectation of what you offer. And if you're not offering that, people start to gravitate towards ease. There was a survey done here, and it was competing on customer service. Over the next 5 years, what is the primary way your organization will seek to differentiate itself from the competition? And if we look at the top 2, it's customer experience and service and product, service, and quality. Interestingly, price, right down the bottom. Price is important, but looking forwards, it's not the most important. One of the interesting data points was mobile first. I don't know the reason why, but I'm guessing that because this is a question about what's happening in 5 years' time, it's just a given that you are a mobile first company. If you are not mobile first in 5 years' time, you're probably going to be experiencing some challenges in the way that customers want to buy from you. So that's probably why it's lower, because it's thinking about the future. But of course, thinking about the future, you've got to be planning now to get towards that inevitability. And so what we see then is this difference between marketplaces and the brands. So of course, you can't ignore the likes of Amazon. You can't ignore Alibaba in Asia. That's impossible to do, and it's convenient for you as a merchant to offer your products and services through that. But the challenge with that is you lose a degree of control over your brand. You lose a degree of experience and personalization you simply can't do in a marketplace. Now, I'm going to show you a graph. Don't be scared. It's got lots of things on it and hard to digest, but I'm going to make it a bit easier for you to have a look at that. And the question was, the reasons that US digital buyers would shop on a consumer packaged goods, in other words, a brand's site, compared to a marketplace, an online retailer. Now, just look at the colors for a moment, okay? If this clicker works. The dark colors, red and black, are where you strongly agree and agree. The lighter colors are where you disagree and strongly disagree. So just look at the colors on that chart for a moment. And then what you see is it splits into 2 halves. The top half is essentially saying, as a consumer, I agree that brand sites, if I go direct to the brand, give me a better experience. They give me more choice. They give me a better sense of personalization. But interestingly, the bottom half, consumers are saying, they don't give me that comfort factor in credit card security, amazingly. So that's why getting good payments connections is really good, that people trust. Still, there's that hesitation for many shoppers online. Brand sites are more likely to offer free delivery. They disagree with that. Of course, the marketplaces like Amazon, it's almost a given now. You know, you pay your Prime, you've forgotten that you've even paid it because you get TV, and you're getting the expectation of free and fast delivery. Although you are paying for it, but mentally you've forgotten you paid. And then a superior shopping experience. So brand sites have got some work to do on the shopping experience. And I think what they mean there is about ease of commerce. What marketplaces like Amazon are brilliant at is it's so damn easy to buy, almost too easy. You know, the one touch, in fact, at my home, we turn off the one touch convenience, like, oh, did I mean to buy that? It's just too easy. And in fact, we've done research to find that customers almost prefer two-step final checkout. If you can thin your checkout process to just 2 steps, it's that ready to go, yes, are you sure? Yes. That you actually get a higher conversion rate, we've found, by doing that process. But test it. It might be different for your brand. And so you'll see, if you can get this magic formula of the ease of commerce that marketplaces do with the experience of commerce that your brand is able to offer, then you've got a beautiful combination to really stand out. So how do you do that? Well, personalization is key. Who's heard of Oliver Sweeney? Most of you, right? Okay. Men's shoes retail about £250 average price, so nice high-end shoes. Now, someone in Oliver Sweeney went to a colleague and said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the board and I'm going to ask them, can we get a full-time tattoo artist in-house? Are you on crack? Can you imagine that, going to the board and saying, what we need, we're a clothes and a shoe retailer, we need a tattoo artist in-house, that's what we need. Well, think about it. Tattoo on skin, leather is skin, why not tattoo shoes? So from that brainchild of an idea, all of a sudden, this has manifested itself in something really original and unique. So you can go online and select a shoe, and then you can pay a premium and have a tattoo. You can have a preset design, or you can send in your own design. And that blends offline and online. You can go and pick it up in store, you can get it shipped to you. So people, process, technology, and daring has happened based on a good idea to make something happen that creates a great experience. And by the way, the tattooed shoes, depending on what kind of tattoo you have, can cost £750, and people pay for that willingly. If you look at this, I love this one because it shows the cultural differences. So Hermes do their lovely scarves and all that kind of thing, and you can personalize it online. This is America, I heart mom, compared and contrasted to the lovely French amour. But you can give that experience where you are providing the opportunity to turn that product as a consumer to something turned into that's yours, that you feel deeply connected to, and deeply connected to the brand. And so to make this happen, it's an idea, and it's about turning it into reality through the technology, through then the back end. There's all fulfillment elements here. You've got to make sure you deliver that scarf exactly to that right person. Content in terms of physical content rather than personalizing a product itself. This is personalizing the experience. Big bus tours, who's heard of big bus tours? Should I say who hasn't heard of big bus tours? Everybody knows them, certainly around London. Now, this is what their website looked like a year ago. Honestly, this was only 12 months ago. This website looked like that. I have to shield my eyes, it actually hurts. It looks like something my 8-year-old son has designed on my first computer. Frankly, Big Bus are a premium product. They charge the most of all the big bus tours. They're owned by the Merlin Entertainment Group, who own Madame Tussauds and some of the theme parks. And this is what you got if you wanted to go on a big bus. It kind of shouts, want to buy a bus ticket? Roll up, roll up. They realized that wasn't enough and they needed to evolve their thinking. This is what the website looks like now. Beautiful, isn't it? This is fully responsive, so it reacts exactly to what you're looking at, but there's considerations behind that to make that materialize, to make that happen and turn it real. This looks like a Lonely Planet guide, doesn't it? This doesn't look like a bus ticket. So all of a sudden you're changing the experience that your potential customers are having and getting them to think about the love of the city that they're going. And by the way, it knows where you're coming from or where you're looking at, so it shows a relevant image to that destination. So it makes it contextual. It drives a connection with you and the brand. Now, this is across 18 different sites, or 18 different countries and sites, over 20 languages, multiple currencies as well. So there's a lot of complexity behind it. And then you think about the content that has to happen. They invested in this. They invested hard. It wasn't cheap. okay? But they invested because they recognized how content can drive commerce when done right. And so it's responsive. The images, just think about the images. You have to have images that are the right size to all your devices, but also you have to make sure that they are given at the right resolution so they still carry that beautiful luxury feeling about them, but they're served at a really quick way, because we know that people get frustrated if time to the page load is too slow. We're talking in milliseconds, tenths of seconds. So it's all those factors in the background that are happening seamlessly and invisibly to you as the consumer that contains and makes this great experience. So they invested hard. What kind of results did they get? Well, they won an award from the Hermes Awards, which is International Design Awards, more traffic. Because they have relevant content, when Google with its algorithms, that was picking up, just through natural search, all the good things and the experience-driven content that's adding value to a visitor. So their paid-for search, they didn't have to do as much. So their site traffic went up 40%, and a lot of that was organic. Bounce rates dropped 17%, so think about that. Bounce rate is at the top of the funnel. They have widened the top of the funnel by 17% from turning on that new site overnight. What that means is your conversion opportunity, if you keep the same ratios going down the funnel, you'll all of a sudden significantly increase the bottom of the funnel to where the money happens. Conversion rates itself, the time to convert, because they thought about the user journey, how it could work in both traditional site, but on iPad and on devices. Time to convert went down 20%. Sales went up, so year on year, on a quarter-on-quarter basis, sales went up 65%. We've got a case study on this if you want to download it from our site. And conversion rate was up by 50% in mobile. And mobile traffic up 53%, again, because it was great to find. And typically, of course, if you're a tourist and you're traveling, you're in a city, you're not on a computer, you're on your phone. So mobile is really important. And so omnichannel. We all know now the store's changing. Even the small brands, you can start to have a small store physically, and that will drive traffic to your site. I was talking to a tea specialist. They've got a little shop in the lanes in Brighton, and they get visitors from Japan who'll go there, and then, of course, they start doing repeat purchases online. So it could be a saviour of the high street, small digital brands starting to go old school to complement. It's not a competition, it's about taking the best of both and using it. And social, a store, Facebook stores, integrating simply into Facebook to be able to expose your catalogue into Facebook pages. So again, that's another store for you to do. Business intelligence without data that you can make sense of is meaningless. And who's heard of Truly Experiences, customer of ours? Okay, not many. They're like, a few people, they're like red letter days on steroids, okay? The starting price is about 2,200. This is the cheapest experience I can find on their site. You get an airship tour around Versailles Palace. So if you get an envelope from Truly Experiences, get excited. Somebody really loves you, or they're trying to bribe you heavily. And so what they did was, because it's a high-ticket item, you don't get that much frequent purchases. And so their SEO is pretty expensive to try to get out and find people. They use the data, which they crunched in their data warehouse, to be able to work out the correlation between paid-for advertising links and repeat purchases. So that increased their advertising spend efficiency by 75% because they chopped out the paid-for links that weren't really performing from a repeat purchase perspective. So it's about using data smartly and using data in a way that the business needs. And our business intelligence solution around that enables you as the business user. You don't have to be a techie. It plugs in any kind of feed you want, takes it from the core system, and then you can start to play with it within the system to get information and theories that you're trying to test and challenge. We've got a holiday white paper we do every year where we take anonymized data from all of our customers. Come and grab it later if you want a copy of that, and it shows some very interesting behaviors and trends that we've understood from commerce. And then future-proofing your business. So everything's as a service these days, particularly mobile, and it's vocal, okay? Who's heard of progressive web apps? Okay, not many people in the room. This is the next phase. So you've got your responsive web design, so you create your website, and then it automatically sizes to whatever kind of device you're on. And that's good. And then you've got your apps. And apps are great because you can use them offline, you can do all kinds of things. The downside of mobile sites, M.dot sites, is that they don't have that offline capability. But what Progressive does, and this is being spearheaded a lot by Google, is it breaks it down into what's microservices. They get loaded in little caches and pockets within your device that you're using, so you can still use them as an offline capacity. So it kind of takes the best of both worlds of an app, because the pain with app with you as a merchant is you have to keep resubmitting the new updates of apps. It's not as flexible. Here it gives you the ability to change things rapidly like you would your M.dot site, but able you to be able to then do it in a progressive site. So you get the advantage of both. So very interesting technology to start to think about how are you designing or thinking about that for the future, because that's the way it's headed. And then touch. So if you're thinking about mobile, you've got to think about how is your touch design. So instead of having drop-down menus, which are a bit clunky, HTML style, why not have it so that they're visual and physical and big enough for farmers' thumbs? That's what you've got to think about. Go and find a farmer and test your app out on that. If you can't get the buttons, then you need to rethink about the design. And search. So my son, who's 8 years old, he goes, Daddy, who will win in a fight, a crocodile or a hippo? I don't know. That's what I said to him. And he says, ask Google. That's his first question. Ask. He searches, not by typing. He talks to find the answer. By the way, the hippo wins. Be careful of those bad boys. They're dangerous. Right? So but think about the search. You've got vocal search going into visual search. Right? Think about what's happening in the background. People aren't touching your website. They haven't gone to you.com. They've gone to Google. And they've done voice search. They've gone to Alexa. Okay? And they've said, or they've gone to Siri. Siri's painful, right? And they've asked the question, show me, black high-heel boots. That's me at the weekends. Show me black high-heel boots, okay? And then what you'll get is, and this is what my son does, not that he's looking for black high-heel boots, but he clicks on images. He doesn't go to the URLs, he clicks on images, and he trawls through the interesting images. So what are the implications for your store? There's content behind that. There's the labeling of the way you richly describe that image so that it surfaces above the fold. There's a lot of thinking that happens there. Then when you click on the image, where does it take you to? Random homepage of a website? Or does it contextually know you've searched for black high-heel boots? So it's going to take you to the boots section, but also it's going to understand that there's upsell opportunity. So it's going to show some black bags and black belts, which you've created within your platform, so it understands that intelligence. These are the considerations to be able to stay ahead in the same way that Contactless has changed people's brains and driven them to like that. These are the considerations to bake in. So there's 4 key elements that we see as to merchant success is be bold, just like Oliver Sweeney. Be bold about that. Don't be afraid, because if you can contain it, it's not going to cost you too much to test it. Embrace digital first, but think about it threaded through everything, through offline, online, your physical catalogs, your digital catalogs, your omnichannel experience, your single view of the stock. Build flexibility. Flexibility not just into the technology, but into the people and the processes and your thinking to be able to take advantage. And innovate through human ingenuity. So there's all of these wrapped up. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from a guy who knows a fair bit about e-commerce, which is Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. The only sustainable advantage you can have over others is agility. That is it. Nothing else is sustainable. Everything you create, somebody else will replicate eventually. So it's having that flexibility of process, of people, of your technology, of your commerce platform that enables you to move with the rapid changes, to move at the speed of customer experience, the speed of expectation, the speed of change. And that's why having flexible, scalable systems in place to take advantage of these changes that you can't even anticipate is so important as you look at what you're going to use to transact commerce now and in the future. Thank you.